Hey guys, Quinn of Snazzy Labs here. Look, I have tried a lot of these home security cameras, and they're all interesting. Look, IP cameras as a technology is not new. It's been around for a really long time. But historically, real and traditional IP camera setups have been expensive and pretty difficult to set up. So these new plug-and-play options like the drop cam and the Withings Home have flooded the market. And for good reason. They're all interesting, but they all seem still a little bit beta. They either have inferior hardware or lackluster software. And today we're actually going to take a look at another home security camera that's new on the market, Canary. The question is, can it surpass the other models that are already on the market? Let's find out. The price point of Canary is $249, which already puts the expectation pretty high because it costs a fair amount more than other cameras on the market. And luckily, on the hardware side of things, this camera is actually top of its class. The body of the camera is made of metal and it feels very durable, although I will admit the size is pretty overwhelming for many applications. Compared to the drop cam and other competitors on the market, the Canary is much more of a statement piece. And it will probably need to rest on the shelf or on a table. You're not going to find it wall mounted like you can with the drop cams, which can be a pro and or a con. In the office, I would prefer to throw it on the wall, but with Canary, there's just no way. Now, the 1080p sensor is better than any home security camera I've used on the market. I mean, the quality really is phenomenal. The video is smooth, it records at a high frame rate, it's very, very good. Furthermore, and by far my favorite feature of this camera is the infrared camera performance. Now at night, in this closed room, it's pitch black. It's a very, very dark office. And with this camera, I can see incredibly well with superb detail, textures and depth, all feels very natural. And that's something that the other cameras just don't offer. They don't really do a great job. Withings does better than the drop cam, and the drop cam doesn't do a very good job at all. But when compared to this Canary camera, they both get blown out of the water. And when you think about it, most of the time you need a security camera is probably at night, in the dark. And so this is a really great solution. Canary also features a siren, which is remarkably loud and would actually serve as a really good deterrent from criminals. I think it's a great alternative to the speakers that are on some other models. You can't really understand how loud it is on this video, but let me tell you, it is loud. Now, most of these cameras require a paid monthly subscription if you plan to archive the video or have it stored, which, when you think about it, is something you're probably going to want. It can be helpful for filing police reports and capturing robbers, etc. So you probably do want recording. And Dropcam and many of the other services have come down in price, but they're still relatively expensive. Now, Canary obviously offers free streaming like all home security solutions, but what they do include, and what I really like, is that they will include 12 hours of storage for free, which is pretty nice. And you can actually even save events to your camera roll, which is really, really great. Other manufacturers straight up don't do that. So the hardware really is best in class, and it surpasses that of many of the other solutions that I've talked about. But sadly, that's where my love for Canary kind of ends. The app, which is how you interface with the camera, is pretty problematic and buggy. Now, Canary's setup is done with a yellow 3.5mm cable that you plug into your phone. They communicate noises back and forth, and somehow it confirms a secure pairing process. It honestly seems a little bit gimmicky and weird and causes more problems than it solves. But, I mean, it works all right. Luckily, you only have to do it once. It worked fine. It was just not ideal. Now, once you're actually set up, the software itself is, it's pretty and it's well laid out, but there are a lot of problems. First off, there are a lot of false alarms. The camera detects a lot of false notifications, and I don't think it's the hardware, it's the software. We have it set up in the front room a lot of the time, and so when a car drives by, it doesn't see the motion of the car, it just sees a slight change in light in the office, and it sends us a notification, and the drop cam does that as well. The Withings home security camera does not, which is why we're using that with more frequency out in the front rather than the Canary or drop cam. So it's a little bit suspicious. Now, I do get many notifications randomly during the night, which is especially annoying in this closed room when there's no activity at all, which is, I guess you could say, better safe than sorry. But when you get too many notifications and too many false alarms, you stop checking. And when something actually is a real alarm, you're not going to know because you're just going to think it's another false alarm. So that's something they definitely need to fix. Like I said, Dropcam is bad as well, but Canary is probably worse. Now, secondly, for some reason, both on iOS and Android, it seems that their app has a pretty serious bug wherein it doesn't disable notifications while you're at home or at the office. So I'm sitting here on my desk, the camera is a foot away from my face, and I'm getting notifications every 30 seconds telling that there's an intruder in my office because, well, duh, it's me. I've just decided to disable all of the notifications altogether, and luckily this and other things could all be fixed through software updates. It's not a problem with the hardware, but right now it ain't fixed, and that's kind of the issue. The video quality is good, and the other things within the app, like the room temperature and the air quality, they're actually pretty handy. But when there are these little gimmicky add-ons that cause more harm than they do good, and when the app isn't functioning the way it should be, that's when I start to have issues with a product, and that's where Canary is it's in this awkward preteen stage of it has a lot of potential, but it's not quite there yet. And I really do have high hopes for Canary. It has incredible potential, but it's fallen a little bit short. The software isn't where it needs to be to compete with even Dropcam, but especially to compete with Withings. Does that mean it never will? No, quite the contrary. In fact, I think this is by far the best hardware on any camera on the market. And so with a software update or two, Canary could by far and easily be the #1 camera on the market. But as of right now, it's still just another beta, kind of good, kind of weird. I like it, I don't. One of those applications and one of those products. So there we are. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, rate, comment, and as always, stay snazzy.